friends, my name is Chris Elliott and I've recently published an article on CyprusScene questioning why the UK, it seems, does not want to recognise the TRNC and Turkish Cypriots by the statements they make. Regarding the events in Russia and the Ukraine, at times it's hard to accept news being broadcasted, and clearly there are lots of lies and misinformation being circulated to gain advantages. This is not uncommon in politics, and we only have to look at the history of the Cyprus issue to see Greece and Greek Cypriots breaking the Cyprus agreement and forcing the Turkish Cypriots from the then Cyprus government and pursuing a policy of ethnic cleansing, which has been so well documented. Now, Great Britain is a former administrator of the island and one of the guarantors of the Cyprus agreement quietly sat on their hands and watched things worsened over the years. The UN peacekeeping force in Cyprus, established in 1964 to prevent further fighting between the Greek Cypriot and Turkish Cypriot communities and bring about return to normal conditions, have achieved very little other than to continue with their insistence that a settlement between the two sides be a bizonal, bi-communal federation. The mission's responsibilities expanded in 1974 following a coup d'etat by elements favouring union with Greece, but despite the UN presence as peacekeepers, nothing changed until Turkey, as the third guarantor of the Cyprus agreement, intervened to stop further bloodshed in 1974, and the so-called Republic of Cyprus, with the Greek Cypriot administration, still existed, and they have convinced the US, UN, UK and the EU and the world that they have the sole right to the governance of Cyprus to this very day. Yeah, nice one. In a recent meeting in northern Cyprus, the British High Commissioner to Cyprus, Irfan Sadiq OBE, claimed to the anger of British expats that Turkey had grabbed land in their second peacekeeping operation in 1974. He did not mention the Turkish forces on the mission to stop the bloodshed reached land on the south coast of the island, but then withdrew to another peacekeeping defence line. Does that sound like land grabbing to you? It's worth noting the two UK sovereign bases were divided by the Turkish peacekeeping operation, but were reunited after the Turkish military withdrew from between them. Can you imagine, had they not done so, we might have a totally different history from then till now. I find it most puzzling why Great Britain, UK, has not lived up to their responsibility to help both Turkish and Greek Cypriots, other than to insist the two groups must unite under the so-called ROC administration, which was a deviation from the original Cyprus agreement, overseen by them, the British. When the UK government or MPs are questioned on the need for change and a fair approach for those in northern Cyprus, TRNC, they quickly talk about red lines that cannot be crossed, and clearly they have not and will not review the historical fact other than to insist the problems were started by Turkey in 1974. But did they? Looking back at Cyprus history, we see Great Britain leased the island from the Ottomans, and all was well until the Ottomans decided to be a part of the Germans in the First World War, and the island of Cyprus was then annexed by the British. Following this, the British and Allies, led by the First Lord of the Admiralty, Winston Churchill, tried to invade Gallipoli in Turkey, and after lengthy fighting were forced to withdraw with very heavy losses on both sides. Could it be that the Ottoman Turkish Cypriots of Cyprus at that time had their future cards marked as not being given fair treatment in the future by the British? Perhaps some very interesting documents may be found in the British Archives in London that could clarify this, and with lists of UK governments as long as your arm, who really knows the truth, or is it a case of not wanting to be the first to rock the boat? There we have it. Why did successive UK governments sit on their hands and allow the hijacking of the government control of Cyprus at the expense of Turkish Cypriots and others, all who live or visit the TRNC? Of the Cyprus issue, there is no more than a house of cards supporting the so-called ROC, and if the UK is pulled out, the pile of cards will collapse. Moving forward, we see signs that the Cyprus truth door is wide open, and recently we shared an article written by UK MP Sammy Wilson in which he wrote, "Cyprus needs its own Good Friday Agreement," and this has caused a gigantic international press and media coverage with massive support for the proposal and naturally harsh criticism from those who are clearly worried and don't want the status quo to change. If that was not enough to upset the apple cart, US Congressman Peter Sessions recently visited TRNC President Ersin Tatar and was fully briefed about the Cyprus issue and the demand from the TRNC for a two-state solution. And in reply, he expressed his interest in hearing more about the new Turkish Cypriot vision regarding the Cyprus issue. The congressman added that he believes in the importance of respecting the people of the island on both sides, and that an agreement can only be reached through reasonable people and great leadership. So, my friends, do watch this space for more of the Cyprus issue and positive moves to bring about a settlement that satisfies both sides. And may I wish you a good week, and do stay safe and healthy. Goodbye, and look out for my next video on the YouTube link. Chris Elliott brings CyprusScene videos.